Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Should You Play, where I'm going to show you some spoiler-free gameplay and give you my thoughts after playing new games for a few hours, as well as highlighting and checking out at least one of the PlayStation Plus games for each month. In this video I'm playing one of the August 2024 PlayStation Plus games, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. The LEGO game which adapts all 9 films in the Skywalker Saga, from The Phantom Menace all the way to The Rise of Skywalker.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga was released in 2022, and rather than being a compilation of the original 6-film game, with the sequel trilogy tacked on to the end, the combat system has been revamped, and a lot of other improvements seem to have been made as well, including the option to start your playthrough with the first episode of any of the 3 trilogies. As someone who's played a good amount of the LEGO games before, namely the Marvel and Harry Potter ones, my initial review of this game was honestly going to be along the lines of, once you've played one LEGO game, you've played them all.
Did you hear that?
But the Skywalker Saga surprised me with how good it actually was, so let's get into it.
Great timing.
Let's go.
First things first, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is a collectathon in the best way possible. Each episode of the saga consists of 5 main levels, and contained within those levels are various challenges, unlockable characters, side quests, Kyber bricks, and thousands upon thousands of studs to collect. If you're not the collectathon type though, you can just beeline the main story, and the game does a really good job of telling you exactly where to go.
Hey, you sir, stop it there.
On top of that, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga actually tells you when you're about to enter a main story area. So if you're not done exploring yet, it's always very clear what the point of no return will be. And if you somehow miss the prompt, you can always replay levels in free play using any of the characters you've managed to unlock so far. The core of the gameplay here seems to be consistent with most of the other LEGO games. Break stuff to build stuff, fight enemies in your path, complete little mini-games and puzzles, and platform your way to the next area.
You know what to do.
However, one of the gameplay elements that's been updated from the previous LEGO Star Wars games is the combat, which, for most of the characters, turns the game into more of a traditional third-person shooter, including a cover system that, I will admit, feels a little rough. But the combat on its own feels a lot better compared to the other LEGO games I've played in the past, and, in all sincerity, can feel like the Batman Arkham games when you're in the zone. Every character has a different set of skills though, so while some characters may be limited to close combat, using their fists or a zapper, they might have other uses such as unlocking pathways or going through confined spaces, but most of us are going to want to play as someone who has a blaster or a lightsaber anyway.
That lightsaber, it belongs to me.
The only things that really bothered me about the gameplay were that, if you have AI companions with you, they're objectively useless.
That's not good.
There were a couple of fights I went through where I'd have 3 or 4 AI companions with me, and if they weren't just standing around doing absolutely nothing, they were missing 99% of their attacks.
That way, look out!
If this is something that really bothers you when playing, and if you have a friend or family member who's local, you could always use the game's drop-in, drop-out couch co-op feature, but I will say that the downside to that is that LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga doesn't support online multiplayer, which is a bit of a missed opportunity in my opinion.
You're making a big mistake.
Whether you're already a fan of the main Star Wars films or if you're going into them blind, the game does a pretty good job of condensing the narratives down while keeping all of the major moments and plot points consistent.
You're a funny little boy. I'm building a pod racer.
You must have Jedi reflexes if you race pods.
All the while adding in LEGO's signature slapstick humor, and even making fun of some of the cheesier moments. One of the nice things that they've done here too is that if you start playing one of the episodes and walk away from it for a few days, once you return, it'll give you the classic opening text crawl and tell you exactly what happened last time you played. Regarding the graphics, the LEGO art style may seem, for lack of a better word, a little plastic at first, but during the cutscenes especially, you can see the level of detail put into the character models, even adding in little scratches and scuffs to make them look less like they were just taken out of the box. With respect to the areas of the game that were lacking, I already touched upon the unfortunate lack of online multiplayer, but flying ships through space is more than a little boring.
I'm going to regret this.
When you're in a dogfight type situation, it's a lot of fun, but once you're voyaging through space, it feels really empty and lackluster. Though fortunately you can usually skip these sections by going straight to your next objective. There's also times where the game needs to get out some exposition all at once, so it'll keep you stuck in a slow walk while someone like Jar Jar Binks explains what's going on, as you find yourself wishing that you were able to do anything else.
This way. Hurry!
The last thing I'll mention, and this honestly isn't even that big of a deal, is that outside of cutscenes, the lip sync is just straight up lip flapping, and it looks pretty lazy.
Those Tusken Raiders have built their camp right in front of an old tomb.
At any rate, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is probably one of my favorite LEGO games to date, maybe right after LEGO City Undercover, and the positives considerably outweigh the negatives.
We are well aware of that, Admiral.
Factually speaking, the LEGO games are aimed towards younger audiences, but they're still a lot of fun, and this one specifically is likely going to be even more enjoyable for Star Wars fans because it celebrates the great moments as much as it pokes fun at the lamer ones.
I don't like sand.
And even though the game tightens the 9 films down to a more condensed scope, you can still spend a good while in the LEGO Star Wars universe trying to collect and finish all of the side quests, skills, and characters. So your mileage will vary depending on what kind of gamer you are.
You are no longer required to stay calm!
As always though, this is just my opinion. If you're just starting out on your journey across the galaxy, or if you've already saved it from the dark side, let me know in the comments what you thought of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga.
May the Force be with you.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
I will let nothing stand in our way.
Do or do not. There is no try. Now, fulfill your destiny.